Yes. Welcome back to another video with MIG. This is going to be a very quick breakdown of our two tools. We've got obviously the subscription model, which is our main core heat map style. You see the resting liquidity the way you would on Bookmap. And then we've also got the absorption flow, which is the big green and red bubbles. And I'll run through that very quickly for you guys. Let me just zoom myself in. Market's currently live at the minute. We are looking for a trade at around 30,485. Now the question is why? So resting liquidity really is the setup where previous buyers, stop runs, etc. took place. The better the actual initial push and creation of that liquidity gives us a better understanding of future interaction. Liquidity acts as magnets, okay? So our core model presents that in the form of these areas, the same way you see those red and yellow lines print on Bookmap or Deep Charts or Sierra Charts, etc. So what we can actively see on the market now is as we approach this area, okay, so our first setup would be our liquidity edge, our depth flow, providing us with the general market structure, the actual framework of where institutional intent occurred, okay? And we use those as magnets. We use those in understanding what the framework of what the markets are anticipating on doing. And we can frame our location of our trade setups. Then we have our absorption flow. That is those big bubbles. Now this is a one-time only. It's not like the subscription base, our core engine, but this one-time only with absorption flow. You see those big upper bubbles, lower bubbles. You see where that live execution is, and you can see that right now as this is printing. Effectively, to get a big, large threshold bubble, or an iceberg, for example, what you'd see on Bookmap is we see buyers flush that position, sellers, so let's say 100,000 buyers came in, the sellers absorbed the strength of those buyers actively, and you see now how that completely disappeared whilst we're talking. It's live, non-repainting, okay? I've got over 12 years of banking experience. We've got 4 ex-institutional analysts that have created this alongside us. Our job is to make your life easier. Now, you could have any strategy. Let's say, for example, let's say you traded iShitT, okie doke, and we had a nice little block here. The question is, where exactly in that area are we expecting that retracement, expecting that trampoline effect? Initially, we could have anticipated it's here at 30,486, or in fact, we could have just waited for active buyers to step in. And we can see that there at 30,504. The absorption flow, those bubbles show us where active execution is. The heat map style shows us where we can expect price to be based off of previous liquidity spaces, where those stop runs are placed, where we expect those sweeps. Why would I then look to take, and remember, this is, if we're taking an order flow style entry, location is the most important. I'm not looking to take, and if I go back here from today, I'm not looking to take shorts just because I saw a big bubble. That's for my entry. That's for my execution. That's for my confirmation. But what I do know, and I can see, so on the liquidity edge, these gray boxes that are drawn out, this is our higher time frame zones. So on request of the majority of our users, they basically stated, what if we could see that same resting liquidity on a higher time frame but on a lower time frame? So we corrected the engine for them. So we can see here, if I'm looking for a good trade setup, session weight, i.e. previous New York session high, then we can see, let me change that red, then we can see 15-minute block, we're on a 1-minute chart, the gray 15-minute higher time frame coincides with this 1 minute here, 1 minute here. These are my 2 original locations now. Now I know what to look for. I also know that if I'm taking sells from here just because I saw sellers step in actively, that wouldn't make sense, okay? I see that flush. Why am I taking it in a range? Why would I not wait for price to continue up? Because I can see liquidity acts as a magnet, and we can see that immediate retracement directly off of that. It's a trampoline effect. Sellers know they were there before, so when we go back to that area, depending on the time that we actually displace, depending on the time we reclaim, sorry, we expect to see the same thing. Now, if I was looking for a breakout, perhaps, let's say I was anticipating a breakout, you know, and let's say it was this little area here. This is where I can use my absorption flow. And I can say, right, okay, Moss, I'm looking in here, so now we can see this range extended. What would I actively be looking for? You know, some people took a breakout here. Some people are going to take a breakout here. What I'm looking for is to see active buyers step in. Let me see these buyers step in at a premium. This is what it's there for, that confirmation for us. So as we approach this area, there's those buyers stepping in at that high. So if I really wanted to be a Jew about it, I could place my thing here, my stop loss at the protected area, not at the wick, but where buyers previously were. I'm happy to leave this open currently. But I can see then, look at this. There's that push. There's that break of that range. You see? And then if I missed that, perhaps I can see now new resting liquidity came in. I can place my position here. Or why not add? And look at that. When you're trading with liquidity, when you're trading actively based off of institutional intent, institutional data, and you might be asking, how do we get that? Listen, what we do is we use the back-end footprint system from the ultimate accounts on Tradingview. We also use, there's a reason why we don't have alerts, because we utilize those webhooks based off of the back-end API of Tradingview to export that out. If you've got a futures broker, fantastic. If you've got a futures broker logged in, i.e. all of your evaluations, we will utilize that data. If not, we have external VMs to be able to provide that to us. Live execution. Don't trade blind. Or don't go over to now have to learn a brand new software system, Deep Charts, Sierra Charts, Bookmap. You needn't do that. We've managed to get order flow, execution, order flow level, order flow grade, institutional grade, directly onto your Tradingview. 15 weeks of daily live streams, free, open for everyone, every single day green. Head over to the testimonials in the Discord channel. The first and only data-backed order flow style tool for Tradingview. Head down into the links below to get started.